Hello all, and welcome to round one of the Guild versus Colon 3 tournament match here. We are on to the last game of the quarterfinals here. By the time this is being recorded, all the other quarterfinal matches are out, and so by the time this series of games are done, there will only be 4 teams left in this tournament. We are here on Yukon as Colon 3 is on ANS and the Guild is on OSP. Colon 3 being Tavi, Internets, Natasha, and Hive. Team 2, the Guild, being Star, Potato, Secret Mink, and Misk. Let's take a look at where the teams are deploying. We have I see a pit boss here looking to deny A on ANS here. A couple light assets down here, potentially for an E-poke. A couple assets to take B here, and something to take C. Over to OSP, we are deploying very heavily up top here near C. That's pretty common with OSP. Typically, OSP likes to push over the top here and take C point. Do have some assets down low, potentially for an E. Oh, I don't. Oh, yep, there's the E cap. And some A cap stuff, and a D capper here. Both teams going heavy on the CAE side, which is pretty standard on Yukon. Yukon is one of these maps that has this large wall down the middle, effectively splitting the map in two, leading to, typically we see some heavy assets play on A side and light, fast assets on the other side here. Very dynamic map. I like it quite a lot. We will see what these teams bring to the game here as our countdown begins. 50 seconds left as both teams finalize their deployments. Need to zoom in on an Acello. Pretty standard Acello build here. We have Auroras and Illuminators. We will take a look at this later when we look at the Guild's team. Starting off with ANS. Tavi's got double Axford here. Standard bow tanking. We have sidearms on the first one here. And the other one has stone walls and the jamming. Oh, this one has sidearms as well. Interesting. One of them with the comms jamming. The other one has a carrier backpack with one Tonto and one Halberd, it looks like. Raider, double whiplash drive. Very standard here. We are running... Looks like we're running Spyglass on this one. Not track correlated. And I'm assuming a Parallax on the other. That's typically how it works. Yep, Parallax on the other. Alright, good 450 fire support here. Very durable platforms as well. Hive is running double carrier. We have... One of them has 6 Claymores, and I believe the other has 4 and some AWACS, which are already up in the air here. And we also have various types of Tontos, coils, and 20 mil, I'm assuming here. Where's the magazine? We have KBU-22s, S2 missiles, and some torpedoes in here. Very nice loadout here. They're going to be hunting down enemy craft and providing strikes against key OSP targets. Internet's running the pit boss here. It's already moving on to, it looks like, the position here on this rock here to deny the A point from OSP. Internets is also running a Cat Fleet. We've seen this Cat Fleet before. We have a Spyglass Range with STMs and SGM-2s. I think these are hybrid S2s. Yep. And we have 5, sorry. I can count, I swear. Gun campers around the map here. One of them heading for the E point here with a pair of triple voxels from Natasha looking to do the E-poke here. Although... Secret Mink has 450 liners already on the point here. These voxels are not going to want to take that engagement. They are going to want to withdraw as soon as these liners start opening up. Taking a look at the initial stages here, both teams secure their naturals. OSP gets theirs slightly before ANS does, although only 1 tick. ANS is also securing C point here, and it doesn't look like there's a whole lot OSP has to deny that. Looks like the bulk of their assets focused on the E point here. Onto the Guild, Misk is bringing an escort carrier. We have R1 rockets and some KBU-22s and various calibers of 100 mil for bombers. They appear to be already up and around. Let's see if we can see them. Oh, were those 100 mil for the gun? Oh, no, that's 100 mil for the T-30. I forgot that escort carrier had that. We have some various cab assets. I'm assuming 2 MMTs. and 2 gun tugs. Yep, these MMTs are very useful for denying points from ANS light assets, and these gun tugs can put out quite a bit of firepower. Looks like we have 4 cappers around the map as well, 2 cringe cappers and 2 gun cappers. Potato, we've already seen Potato's fleet a little bit here. We have the 2 450 liners. Oh wait, no, that was Mink's 450 line ship fleet that we saw. So we've got 2 450 line ship fleets here. Potato's opting to run 2 of them and a Bloodhound tug with double track correlator for those accurate salvos. Whereas Mink is running them with the escort carrier here. We have some perch rockets and guns here. Very light carrier here. You need the points for those 450 liners, although still a valuable asset to have. Star, sticking close to the liners here, we have a double Acello here. The jamming and hard kill on these ships here is going to be a massive force multiplier for these liners, which are typically vulnerable to missile strikes and jamming. You can already see here the Acellos jamming out the liners here, or not the Voxels, sorry, jamming out the liners here, while the Acellos try to get those Illuminators on target to burn through the jamming. Panther Squadron with the EO designator. Yep, Panther Squadron is going to be looking at these voxels here, providing tracks for these 450 liners. That is an incredibly deadly combo that the guild has right here. 250 fire going down into one of these liners here as Natasha realizes, I'm assuming, what they're dealing with, and it looks like they're trying to withdraw, open the range, get out of there. They do not want to be taking that frontline fight. OSP deploying most of their frontline to the E-point here, leaving a lot of the map open. The 8-point battle happens here as a cringe capper from OSP steps onto the point, although that pit boss is going to make sure this thing dies really quickly. And I don't know if there's... Nope. There is an MMT. Yep, Misk has an MMT in the area. Missiles out. These are command missiles with self-screening jammer on them. Out on this capper here, trying to cap the 8-point. Will this sprinter survive this strike? Voodoo Squadron with the R1 perch rockets, making sure that this sprinter is really dead, although it looks like a lot of those are going to miss. Those S2s are definitely going to hit, but this thing survives! This thing bow tanks quite effectively, as this ship is still alive on the 8-point. Only an aux steering to remain control, but it's alive. Voodoo Squadron, though, I still believe has rockets. Yep, they are coming in for the follow-up strike, making sure this sprinter does not survive and does not cap the 8-point. That's a follow-up strike. And that is a dead sprinter as the A-cap is denied. Around the map here, it looks like Internets is positioning a couple of their sprinters here around the side here to potentially go for a D-push here. Misk is doing the same with their MMT here. And a gun capper as well. This one laid mines on the D-point. We have mines out there. E-point still remaining uncapped as these voxels do their job and RPF to death one of these cappers here. This capper is going to explode. Are these liners within explosion range? I believe that they are. These liners do ignite their engines, perhaps trying to get out of range before they explode. 458 P going down on these voxels here, although those are burned through tracks. Those shells are going to be very inaccurate, and they are going to miss. These voxels are running Whiplash Radar Drive for that maneuverability, and they will be able to dodge most of that incoming fire. Cap ship on E does detonate just out of range of these liners here. These liners are lucky they were not closer, or they would have been cooked. They are now putting 450 fire down into these voxels here. Is the Bloodhound out? No, not yet. The Bloodhound is not out. Those are just regular radar tracks. Those shells should be inaccurate enough for these voxels to dodge. Oh no! It's the Pike spotting. The Pike with the EO designator spotting those voxels, although it does go down from that Naginata. Yeah, and you see as soon as it went down, these voxels go dark. 8-point situation. Still mostly uncontested. The assets that were supposed to contest it all dead. OSP going for the C-cap here. They are rushing a mine layer gunship onto the point here. Although Pit Boss is in the area with its RPF, it will be able to destroy this thing well before it gets onto the point. The massive frontline push under the map here going strong as Natasha continues to kite in the voxels. Getting some damage into this first liner here. That 250 is going to start adding up here. What do we have? We have a single drive. Reactor's taking quite a bit of fire. Some of the guns have taken some fire too. None of this is damage that the liners can't repair. The liners breaking off the attack to potentially go Looks like they're breaking off to go up towards the C point here. Pit Boss engaging the camper on the point here. Start taking massive RPF fire. CIC's already down. No restores on this thing, as this thing's just going to get torn apart before it can tap the point. Pit Boss, a very useful asset in denying cap points. Anos's Axfords are in the middle of the map here, hugging this wall here, putting 450 into these liners, readying out the magazine on the first one. This ship cannot fight back until it gets that magazine back online. The other one's at a bad angle. It looks like they're yawing to try and re-engage. The Bloodhound is out on the Axfords here, so these liners will have accurate tracks to fire back on, although only one of them has ammo to do so. It's like they're putting fire into the first of them here. Although the crossfire from the other liners, as the liners that flanked under the map, able to put some fire into the broadside of these Axfords here. The Axfords rather smartly opting to start withdrawing here, realizing that they may have pushed too far and that the enemy does have the drop on them. Not a whole lot of damage going in yet. The damage has yet to add up. Still some inaccurate fire. Is that Bloodhound on them? It is. It's in range too. I wonder... Interesting why these ships seem to have inaccurate salvos against these Axfords. You would expect them to have a good fire rate, although they do have a radar, so perhaps they are dodging the incoming shells. This first liner takes some minor damage, not enough to knock it out of the fight. The other one completely untouched. Rest of OSP's frontline is pushing up and around towards the C point here. Looks like they are going to try and push from under the map here to get the point. Does ANS have anything in the area to defend against that? We have some bombers out in the area just kind of patrolling. Doesn't look like they're really doing a whole lot. Slasher Squadron gets the jump on a couple of pikes down there, splashes them really easily. Another squadron of 4 bombers patrolling the D side here, potentially trying to open up the map for a D push. Internets has S2s out on this MMT as it's caught out in the open. Looks like it's already taken some fire. If this MMT goes down, ANS is going to have no problem taking the D point there. They do have mines to deal with, but they have enough ships to deal with that. As the D side, yeah, with these missiles into the capper here as well. If these hit, yeah, they get past the defenders. Or not the defenders, the defensive missiles. Yeah, that capper goes down. It gets cored as this MMT is going to get finished up pretty quickly by these ships here. Yeah, and that leaves the D side pretty much completely open for an ANS push. The Axfords, perhaps identifying that that is their best way to go, start moving to the D points. Although there are sprint mines here. If these Axfords aren't careful, they're going to get blown up by those mines. These mines are in a really good position to clear the point. Although, yeah, no, this ship has a magazine fire, no reactor criticals, so those mines will be safe. E-Point being capped by ANS, a sacrificial ship here, manages to get along around and cap the point for a moment. It is being retaked by one of these gun tugs here. The Voxels moving under the map, looking to try and get flanks into the liners, trying to support the front line in any way they can. The Pit Boss here moving off of the C point, realizing that it's not going to be able to take that fight at that range. It wants to get off the point here, get to safety, be used another day. Those Axfords are getting really close to those mines. There is a squadron of craft in the area with coil guns. Oh no, those are 20 mil. I wonder if those will be able to defend the, No, it looks like they're posturing to defend against Stinger Squadron up here. Loaded with KBU-22 bombs. I do not think these things are going to get through. There's too many craft in the area for them to get a strike through. The mines perhaps being... not sure if the mines have been detected or not, but Tavi's going wide on the D point here. They'll have plenty of time to detect those mines before they arm and strike the craft. Reactor detonation on the E point here as the Voxels chew up this tug that caps the point here. The D point completely open for these Voxels again as they re-push onto the point. OSP's frontline here trying to get onto the C point here. It looks like they're trying to get a crossfire onto this Pit Boss here. Pit Boss laying into this tug here. Absolutely just frying this thing. No damage control teams. They are all dead. The RPF killing them all, as Pit Boss is just going to be able to mop up that asset. OSP bleeding light assets rather quickly here as tugboats and shuttles go down really quick here and pushes around the map. Although Pit Boss is moving close to those mines, is it? I believe it has detected those mines and is moving back, although moving back it's going to get exposed to these 450 liners. That is 450 HE going into the broadside of this Axford here. A couple misses, most of the shells. There we go, landing some hits now. This Pit Boss needs to get into cover quick or it's going to get torn apart at that close range. This tugboat completely mission killed by this point. It has no resource to bring things back online. It is not going to be doing much of anything. Rocket strike from Vulture Squadron out on this random sprinter here. Although the combined PD from Pit Boss manages to defend it quite well. Pit Boss taking a bit of fire as it starts to try and move back to cover. It is electing to continue to go after this tugboat here, perhaps realizing that its job is to take out the light assets. Realizing that it's probably not going to be able to put much damage into this frontline ball here. Making sure it takes out the light assets, does its job. And I do believe the ship is going to get back into cover. It is going to live to fight another day. The Axford's pushing over the top here, getting the jump on these liners, going for the A point here. As these liners are going to secure the A point here. Pit Boss, if Pit Boss can get over the wall here. Yeah, it's getting over the wall here. It looks like it's going to start engaging these liners as 3K of ANS frontline, or OSP frontline is caught out here on the front line between 3 Axfords. If these Axfords concentrate their fire, they can take out these liners quite fast. Pit Boss takes a mine, loses its bulk mag, needs to restore that immediately to provide fire support for the rest of the Axfords on the A point here. E point being secured by the Voxels, nothing to contest them as they just grab the point. Some missiles out into the Axfords. Why did I jump to that life pod there? As it looks like a few of them hit. Looks like those missiles were from the MMTs. The Axford's backing off here, not wanting to take the fight without their fire support from Pit Boss. Chewing up one of the liners quite nicely. This thing's magazine is gone. It is no longer able to fire back as the Axfords decide to... Looks like they're trying to go behind the rock, make sure they only engage one liner at a time. This liner is pretty messed up. D point going to ANS as they're going to get a 4 cap here. D side completely open due to the work from those from this Reigns here. Opens it up to a cap. C point, however, will go to OSP in turn as they're just going to take the point here with their front line. Pit Boss has a secondary mag that I didn't even notice. I didn't even see that it had the secondary mag there. It is diving on the A point here. Still firing at random tugboats around the map. If Pit Boss can kill this last tug, all the light assets that OSP brought are just gone. And I believe that Colon 3 recognizes that, deciding to prioritize that. The escort carriers have been detected for quite a while here. The Voxels find the escort carriers. One of them is target locked and starts taking 250. Its magazine is gone. No restores. This escort carrier is mission killed. It will no longer be able to resupply those craft with munitions. The Voxel flank underneath the E point, catching these escort carriers completely out of position. They're just going to chew these things up here. These escort carriers have no armor. An excellent Voxel play from Natasha as they're just going to mop up these escort carriers in the back, giving ANS complete air superiority. Although that being said, these Axfords start to get pincered by OSP's frontline as the liners and Acellos move out in completely different positions around the C point here, catching the Axfords off guard. They will, however, forfeit the C point here as it looks like they step off temporarily. One of the liners moving back to cap the point. The rest of the liners, though, getting some nice shots into these Axfords here. These Axfords need to start withdrawing. One of them taking quite a lot of fire. Although the liners that they sent to A point getting chewed up by the Pit Boss here. Another unlucky hit into this one as its magazine also goes down. It completely grayed out as well. That is a rather unfortunate position for all of the damage to go into this liner as this thing can no longer fight back. Pit Boss here still needs to be careful. Those liners are still in position to just completely obliterate it if it gets too close. Although, by the time I think that this thing goes down, these liners on A point are going to be pretty worse for wear. Fleet carriers on ANS detected and locked by the Acellos as they rush in to deal with these things. These things are on flank. They have regular drive. They need to get behind cover really quickly or they're just going to get chewed apart. The escort carriers, both of them, one of them, oh yeah, both of them mission killed as one of them loses its CIC. These voxels completely just obliterating all of OSP's carrier assets. A point still in the hands of OSP here, as Pit Boss is unable to step onto the cap point to secure it due to the overwhelming presence of their frontline here. These liners taking quite a lot of fire for their trouble, though, securing the point. These experts are still completely heavy, able to get fire downrange. This ship already restoring its damaged compartments. The other one completely intact. And it looks like ANS's fleet carriers, looks like they are able to get behind cover. No, they're slowing down. They need to start going, or these things are, the damage is going to start adding up on these. 450 HE going into these things, that's gonna hurt quite a lot. Although we have a lot of squadrons here potentially going for these Acellos here. Hive hasn't really been able to get many strikes through on mini craft this round. Those liners playing it really safe close to the Acellos. We have an S1 strike out on this Axford here. Stonewalls in arc start firing. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to kill all the missiles, although those are S1s. Oh, nope, they're going for the chaff. Never mind. It's, yeah, this Axford's fine. The liners on A continuing to be chewed up by the Axfords that ANS has. These voxels moving up are going to also be able to get some fire support into these ships at the A point here. Looks like we have torpedo strike out on one of the Acellos here. Two of them strike right in the core. That thing's center stack goes down. 2 reactor detonations in rapid succession on the B point here, as everything is just exploding all at once. That was back-to-back detonations. Quite impressive timing there. Yeah, these liners on A, one of them is completely mission killed, no restores. The other one backing up as quickly as possible to get out of range of the Pit Boss. Axford here trading fire with one of the 450 liners. This liner's extended quite far over here. There is nothing to protect it from getting struck by the carriers. Does Hive have any ships in the area or any craft in the area to strike? Doesn't look like it. One of the Acellos looks like it's diving onto the B point here, looking to cap it from behind ANS's back. Will the carrier be able to deny that? We will see. C point wide open for a back cap here, as Internets recognizes that it is open and is sending one of their ships to retake it. The front line has moved off the point here, and it's completely open to be retaken. Secret Mink trying to go for the E point, gets caught out by the Voxels. Voxels at close range do not like 450 fire coming in, but that is a lot of 250 fire returning back into this liner here, as it starts to lose compartments rather quickly here. That mag goes down, it's no longer going to be able to fight back. Will these Voxels be able to disable this liner in time? I believe that they will. These Voxels have done a really good job of staying completely healthy, only taking the fights that they need to. Is this liner? No, the liner hits the rock! It's gonna knock its guns out of range. Oh, that is tragic. The gun's now not in arc to fire back, as these Voxels are just gonna chew it up. This ship is not gonna be able to get those guns back on target before those guns, yeah, chew this thing apart. That is unfortunate. Boxer being secured by OSP as this Acello steps onto the point. Nothing in the area for ANS to deny that. Comet Squadron finds the Sea Capper here, but they don't have any offensive weapons. They don't have any anti-craft stuff. This ship has nothing to stop it from just taking the point here. There is a mine in the area, although that thing is behind a rock. If Internets is careful, that mine is not going to be able to hit them. Pit Boss trading fire with one of the Acellos here. The Acello already bow onto Pit Boss. The Pit Boss is not going to be able to do much damage at all to this Acello. Bow on, the armor of an Acello is going to be able to deflect most of that incoming 250 fire. OSP's liners in dire shape as they just got chewed up by pushing into ANS's assets here. Yeah, the Acellos finished... Acellos. I call them Acellos again. The Voxels finishing up this liner here that tried to go for the E point. That liner is not going to be retaking the cap. One of the journeymen looks like it might be in position to try and recap it. Looks like perhaps Misk trying to make it look like the ship is dead to the Voxels. but I don't think the voxels are going to buy it, honestly. This liner gets to the D point while I wasn't looking. How did this thing not get struck beforehand? Here's the strike. 2 bombers with torpedoes coming in to strike this thing, although that's not going to be able to kill it. Do they have an Axford in the area? No. Axford diving A point. Retaking the C point here. Misk perhaps trying to bait out the defender so that the mine can get an arc, although I do believe the minefield was spotted before. Natasha deciding to finish off the escort carriers. As, yeah, here comes the... Oh, no, those were unguided bombs and torpedoes. The Tontos had unguided bombs. They killed a liner. D point secured. OSP has nothing to retake the D point here, as Hive masterfully defends. Securing the D point for ANS is there. Yeah, OSP is not going to be able to retake that anytime soon. We have a surrender from, looks like the guild is surrendering, recognizing that they are not going to be able to contest the points with the limited assets they have left. And it is 0-1 in favor of Colon 3 as they take the first match. Very excellent play from Colon 3, yeah. As, yeah, it's 1-0 in their favor, and we are on to Blood Moon.